You're very welcome back to Ireland Day. I'm nearly 8:20. And moving on, following an alleged incident on a GAA pitch that has prompted an investigation, renewed debate has emerged around the treatment of referees.
Here to give us a bit more insight are Zoe Poole, Head of Girls Football with DDSL, Michael Ryder, Chairman of Coiste Peil na Gaillimhe, and former Irish international Shane Byrne. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you so much. Zoe, you work within the sport of soccer.
I do.
How are you finding it recruiting and retaining referees?
At the moment, it's become an impossibility to recruit and retain referees. All referees are assigned to the DDSL by the FAI. So much so that the DDSL...
This is the Dublin District Schoolboys and Girls League. Yeah.
So much so that the DDSL launched their own campaign called the Junior Match Official, because we do not have enough referees. And that was launched for players from 16 to 18 within their own clubs to referee within their own clubs. They are very distinct. We provide them with the gear. It has like junior match official.
But why can't you recruit and retain referees?
We can't recruit and retain referees due to the level of sideline abuse. Every weekend. There's not a weekend that goes by that we don't get a report of referee abuse. I also sit on the disciplinary committee for the DDSL, and every week we meet. We could have 9 to 10 hearings every Monday night.
Who's the abuse coming from?
The abuse... So we launched a programme 2 years ago called It's My Game, Silent Sideline.
Yeah.
Give the game back to the kids.
Yeah.
And from that, from year one, it was to do with, say, spectators, parents, guardians. We seem to get the message through to them. So 94% of our cases in year one were to do with coach and sideline behaviour. It's very rarely players.
Yeah. Okay.
Year two, we seem to get through to the spectators, parents. Year two, now it's transpiring onto the coaches.
Who were just shouting abuse?
Yes.
Right.
Wow. And just to give us a sense of the age range of the players, I mean, these are
from 7-year-olds to 17 and 18-year-olds.
Right. So they're kids.
They're minors.
Yeah.
They're
and they're seeing this sort of behaviour.
As we always say to the coaches when they're disciplinary, we tend to forgive kids. We don't forgive adults.
Yeah. We'd love to hear from you on this 0896 111 111. Obviously, this conversation has been going on a lot over the last week. If there's any incidents you'd like to tell us about or things that you see on a weekly basis when you go to a football, a GAA, a rugby, whatever your sport is, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Michael, you have a GAA background. You're based in Galway. Would you have the same experience as soccer in terms of the refs receiving this type of abuse?
Thank God not like this. We have a great game going at the moment. Since the new rules were brought in in 2025, the game changed. So has the amount of work for the referee. But when a referee goes out to a Gaelic game to ref a match, he just tells both captains what he expects, and it's very, very little. The odd incident that if a sideline official said something, but now he has the power to deal with that.
Tell us specifically about the rules, and if the rules, well, clearly they have worked in terms of reducing the type of incidents that you're talking about.
So the game has changed in the last 2 years since our Uachtaráin implemented new rules headed by the new committee. So the referee has a lot more to do. He has to watch, the kick-outs, the 3 up, 3 back. But when you come out to the country and you have to come down to club level, the referee will be there on his own. He won't have sideline officials. Maybe someone from each side will come in and do line. Maybe 2 men will do umpire for him. So the referee and out the country, when you're refereeing county games, you have linesmen, officials, you have umpires.
And
you've
got more bodies, I suppose. And people more support.
When you come out to the country and down to club level and you go out to a small rural area, the referee is on his own. So if we hadn't good discipline in the GAA, we'd have a lot more trouble, but we haven't. Thank God we bring in all the clubs early in March. In Coiste, we have a great committee and we have a great secretary, Tara, and she implements all the rules, and we have a great fixtures committee run by Tom and Justin, and if they hadn't the cooperation of the refs,
Yeah.
we wouldn't achieve 1,250 games last year.
And these are big undertakings. Everyone, in all of your disciplines, there's a huge amount that goes on. Shane, the refereeing situation in rugby has been talked about for a very long time, and how we'd love to see that emulated across all sports, because there does seem to be a level of respect there, whether you're at schoolgirls or schoolboys, all the way up to having watched you on the international pitch. Why is that?
Well, listen, by no means is rugby perfect.
No.
There are instances everywhere, because unfortunately idiots are everywhere. Every now and again you're going to find one somewhere down, on mostly at underage level. But rugby, you see, I suppose it's from the ethos of it that a lot of the game, it's about discipline. And within the rules of the game, we look to the ref to protect the players within the rules of the game. So that generates respect for the referee. So that all keeps into when he makes a decision that you don't agree with. Because yardage is very hard to come across in rugby, because there's people in your way all the time. So if you give a penalty away, you're letting down your team. If you give the ref guff, it's 10 yards, then a yellow card, then a red card. You're letting down the team. And it's that ethos that just generates that you've got to bite your lip. You've got to keep quiet when there's something that goes wrong. And that culture is in most of the people on the sideline are of that. They've experienced that. They've played rugby, or their kids have been playing for a long time. But yeah, it does happen down at the underage level. The IRFU now are pushing through, trying to get side touchline stewards, volunteers, because it is happening at underage level that, say, your kid is playing rugby for the first time. Your thought process isn't that way about the ref. You think the ref is, someone that can be abused, where that's just not the case.
Yeah.
And if anything has to change, everyone has to want to do it. So, like, the greatest thing, I think, in rugby terms is that the crowd, you need them to almost self-police, that they're telling you, man.
Yeah, calling people out
quiet,
and
calm it down before it becomes a thing.
Yeah, it is interesting though that both in terms of the GAA and in rugby, that there are repercussions within the game. Certainly, Michael, you mentioned over the last couple of years there's been changes made in the rules so that the ref has more power to be able to, stop clamp down on this behaviour, or at least punish people, or make sure that they can't show up next week. Zoe, you mentioned having younger referees, like kids are refereeing now.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know, would mums and dads, are they, by the way, it's also worth noting as well, it's not every single parent doing it. It's only one or two on either side, surely,
And that's the sad thing, right? Like, Michael, you had 1,250 games last year. We put on over 2,500 games every weekend.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, the very, very small percentage, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's not everywhere.
It's not everywhere. We're not talking about all the amazing volunteers. All clubs are run by volunteers.
Yeah.
All the referees, they're amazing. The clubs, the volunteers. And unfortunately, it's the sad thing, that's what we're actually speaking about. Not all the good things that are happening, all the bad things that are happening. And that's kind of sad in society.
Yeah.
And that's actually a reflection of society these days. We have, as I said, the JMO programme. We're also launching the senior match official programme, like older men or ladies that have gone out of the game that are going to come back in and obviously mentor the younger kids. But the JMO programme, and we've had instances that we like Michael, we would bring, clubs in, they're in with us once a month, club meetings, and they know the repercussions. Anybody that abuses a JMO are an automatic 2-week ban. Their games are gone, they're stood down, they're not even allowed to train.
And that's it. And you clamp down on it. I wanted to ask, do younger refs get the same abuse? Would they get the same abuse if you're their kid? They still get it. And tell us about the Sidelines, which is an interesting initiative that you're running, which is complete silence everywhere.
Complete silence
and everyone
once a month in every club. And the referee has the power to stop the game and say it's Ray or Murren. Why is the game stopped? Well, because
There has to be, if you're sitting there and someone's throwing abuse and you're watching a bunch of under-7s running around the place, you need someone to stand up and go, would you cop on?
Exactly.
Right? We have to be able to police ourselves, right? That's what we need to do. We'd love to hear from you on this. 089 611 111. Alan, do you have some texts coming in about this?
Yeah, lots of texts coming in on this, and lots of people have varied opinions on it. Derek says referees have always been treated so poorly by parents and coaches do nothing to stop it. Saoirse says, how do we expect the kids to treat referees well if they see their parents and coaches not treating them well. And Ava said, I find my friends and family always blame the referee when their team doesn't win.
Yeah, come on, ref.
It's amazing, and all of you have mentioned trying to recruit people into refereeing and sidelines and how difficult that is, because all of these sports run on volunteerism. Like, it's as simple as that when it's at younger age levels. Zoe Poole, head of girls football at the Dublin District Schoolboys and Girls League. Michael Ryder, chairman, Coiste Peil na Gaillimhe. And Shane Byrne, I wouldn't be saying anything against him now, former Ireland rugby player. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate you coming in. Thanks a million.
Thanks, guys.